Welcome back to Third Man In. I'm Zack Phillips, and in tonight's post-game stream, we're going to be breaking down game number 57 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season here tonight, capping off their 7th consecutive win. And this one coming at the hands of the Colorado Avalanche, winning this one 4-3 here tonight, moving to 33-16 and 9 on the season. And now you're probably looking at me wondering, you know what? This guy's dressed all dark. He's got on all black right now. Yes, I do. I showed up tonight to this stream. I'm wearing black pants. I got a black t-shirt on under the jersey, a black Leafs jersey, and the black hat. And you want to know why? Because it's a dark day for the Tyler Bertuzzi haters, for the ones that fought against us and fought against the idea of Tyler Bertuzzi being a guy who could and would make an impact here on this team. Being in the chat, coming here and talking about, or going online on Twitter and talking about getting rid of Tyler Bertuzzi, seeing what you could get at the deadline for assets for him, because those people did not believe in Tyler Bertuzzi and what he could bring to this team. The rest of us, we knew. We knew what this guy brought. We knew that it was only a matter of time. And guess what? You put this guy on a second line. You put him alongside William Nylander, and you give him some minutes. You give him some leeway. You give him an opportunity to go out there and play his game, get in the shit, piss people off, be a disturber, get to the front of the net. That's who Tyler Bertuzzi is. That's how he's been playing, and he's now being a much more involved player. And on top of that, John Tavares off the first power play unit. You put Tyler Bertuzzi there. 3 goals here tonight, 2 goals on the power play, including the game winner. So today, moving forward to us here on the Third Man In channel, for everyone in the chat, today will now be known as the Tyler Bertuzzi Day. Happy birthday to Tyler Bertuzzi. And today is the day that we will start the victory lap about how we knew Tyler Bertuzzi would be an impactful player here in Toronto. All those writers over there who were upset about Dubas leaving this team and looking for guys like Dennis Malgin to come back into this lineup. Well, guess what? Those are not the type of players you're looking for when it comes to playoff time. And year after year after year after year with this Leafs team, we've been dying for someone like Tyler Bertuzzi to come here. Someone like Tyler Bertuzzi who could play in the top 6 and have snot and have grit and go and piss people off and not back down from anything. We knew that Tyler Bertuzzi would be a player who could step up, and tonight I feel like is the coming out party for him with this Leafs team. So I cannot wait to see what this guy continues to bring with this Leafs team, and given the opportunities that he's getting right now from Sheldon Keefe. So looking forward to that. We'll recap everything that went down. We'll recap what happened with Tyler Bertuzzi, what's going on with him there, why he was able to have the success that he did here tonight. So shout out to him. We will take calls here as well. So if you do have thoughts, you want to call into the show, you want to give your thoughts, you want to let us know how you feel about this game. You want to let us know how you feel about this team moving forward, whether you're back in, whether you're out, whatever it is on this Leafs team. I want to have you guys call in. So make sure to send me a message, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, or Discord. You can send a message on there, and very, very happy to take calls from people and see what their thoughts are on this one, on this game here tonight, and on this last stretch that the Leafs have been on. 7 straight wins. There are a bunch of super chats, so let's get to those. I don't want to make people wait too long to hear them, but before I do that real quick here, if you are watching and you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel so that we can continue to grow this channel. We can continue to grow the show, continue to do more cool things here. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here. Let's get to 50 as quickly as possible. You know, we've got to 50, 100, 150 on here. I think we've hit about 200 on this show before. Why not 300 here tonight? Why not 300 on this stream? Continue to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and if you know people out there right now who might want to watch this one, might want to get involved in the conversation about what went right for this Leafs team here tonight, send the link over to them. But let's get to these super chats here now. Max, thank you for the super chat. Max Entias says, happy birthday, Bertuzzi. Yes, happy birthday, Bertuzzi, and then with the little hat trick emoji there. Shout out to Max for the super chat. We greatly appreciate that, but Max says, happy birthday, Bertuzzi. Simple as that. We'll leave it there. Thank you, Max, for the super chat. Another one. If it wants to play. Maybe not. All right. Robert Smith. Good win, boys. Yes, this was a good win. This is a pretty solid game through and through. There was a lot of stuff that kind of goes into this one, and these are the ones that you look at when you say you got to find a way you got to find a way to come away with wins. This is one of those games where it's like you just got to get it done. Maybe it's not going to be the prettiest the entire way through. Maybe you're not going to have a full-blown 60 minutes where you're going to go out there and you're going to dominate the other team, but the reality is you have to look at it in terms of 4 games in 6 nights here now. You play Arizona and Vegas on the back-to-back. You go into this one. You've now inserted Morgan Rielly back in. He's getting a more consistent role. Run back over the last 2 games. He's trying to fit into a moving train here, or onto a moving train. Then you've got Matthews, who's been on this absolute heater. You're going to get a little bit tired. You're on a road trip. You're out there in Arizona, Vegas. St. Louis started earlier in the week. You moved to Colorado here tonight. These are 2 back-to-back good teams. They're going to wear on you a little bit. You got to find ways to win, and that's what this team did here tonight. I think Samsonov probably didn't look that incredible, but he found ways to make saves. He was a little bit sporadic here and there. He still made saves when he needed to. He was mostly on top of it. I don't think any of the goals were realistically that bad, so I think it's a pretty decent night from that standpoint. There wasn't really many defensive, like, whoa, what the hell is going on moments. There was a couple here and there, and I can completely understand that, but it wasn't like jump up in your face. There was a couple that I was looking at plays, or a couple decisions, a couple things here tonight that I was looking at kind of wondering. Obviously, one of those would be Morgan Rielly and TJ Brody kind of getting paired back together at some point there in the first period. It looked like Sheldon Keefe thought he was going to try that out, put them back in as a pairing. They got scored against there where Mackinnon absolutely burns down the wall, beats Morgan Rielly. He's ends up flat on his face, basically laying down, trying to keep up or getting burned by. Then you got TJ Brody sliding back to try to block the pass. Goes right by. Nate McKinnon stops up, hits Cogliano in the slot, wide open there with all the time and space in the world to bury that. So there was a couple of those moments, but then it kind of seemed like it corrected itself. You know, you keep the first line together, rocking. I think that they're playing pretty well. They're creating chances. They're creating opportunities. You're getting Matthew Nyes more involved. He looks like he's fitting in more and more and more as this season has gone on. He kind of went through that lull in the middle where, or I guess middle of the year. It would have been around like games 30 through 40, 45-ish, where you're probably looking at him kind of going, okay, now you're getting to the point where you are an everyday NHL player. Are you going to adapt to the NHL level? Are you going to adapt to the size and the speed for 82 games? Well, it looks like he's kind of figuring things out here. I think that first line being as dominant as they are right now between Matthews and Marner is going to continue to help that, and it's going to only continue to help Matthew Nyes improve his game and be more comfortable as an NHL player. And then you're going to look down at the second line. That second line, it's like, yeah, okay, you have to get over the mental hurdle of, do you move John Tavares down? A guy who's your captain. He's got the name reputation, the brand reputation of John Tavares and everything that he's done throughout his time in the NHL, and deservingly so. That's fine. He's been a stand-up player, a stand-up guy throughout his entire career. He's making a huge amount of money here on this team, taking up a big amount of your salary, or your cap space, but then you also have to look at it from the perspective of, is this the best decision? Is this the best fit for our team? And him on the second line no longer was. So now you make the move. You put him down onto that third line. You give that second line an opportunity to run. And then on top of that, it looks like at least that the reins have been taken off of Bertuzzi and Domi. It looks like they've kind of been given the go-ahead, the tap to go out there and just play their games. Domi is a playmaking player. Whether people agree with that or not, like, that's kind of who he's been known as throughout his time in the NHL here. When other teams have gone out and looked for that type of depth, a guy who can create offense, a guy who can play under power play, maneuver or pass around the puck, it's Max Domi who's come in and made that type of impact. It's Max Domi who's come in and been the player that they've gone and looked for to be able to come here and, dish the puck around. Now he's going to play with William Nylander, who is a goal scorer. He's a shoot-first guy. He's a great playmaker, but he's a shoot-first guy. Max Domi is a pass-first guy. You put those two guys together, there's no longer a conflict of interest between the two of them, where Nylander might look at Tavares and think, I got to move this puck. Tavares might look back at Nylander and think, I got to move the puck there, and then it's going to become an overpassing situation. you're just getting to this point where all these things are starting to fit more and more and more together. You see these guys starting to actually play their game and kind of just say, you know what? I'm going to play Tyler Bertuzzi hockey because that's who I was signed to play. I'm not going to be this like guy that Sheldon Keefe makes fit into a certain role, makes fit into a certain position. He just plays as Tyler Bertuzzi, and he's been rocking now. Same thing with Domi there. You know, they were in Keefe's doghouse for a long period of time. Now they're starting to get things going there. It looks like they're gaining confidence. It looks like they're probably gaining confidence from the coach. It feels like Nylander likes playing with them. And if you've got all those things going for you, it's just going to help continue to propel you and make you better and better every single time that you go out there with that line. So like what I see there as well. And then with the defense, again, still continuing to look pretty solid from those guys. And you got some solid fourth line shifts out of this team tonight. You know, we've often looked at this fourth line and kind of thought about them as like this fourth line that's a fast forward button, effectively. A fourth line that can go out on the ice, and you're basically hoping that you can just get in, get out, get in, get out. Like you're hoping that you're not going to take on too many negatives. You're hoping that you're not going to go out there and have all these situations where the other team is going to have these high danger opportunities over and over and over again that are going to kind of come back and burn you. You're hoping that you're not going to get pinned in your own zone. But the one thing that you're kind of hoping that you can have out of this line is every now and then you can chip in with some offensive contributions. And the thing is, people will look at this fourth line and say, well, when you say offensive when you say offensive contributions, we're not talking about goals necessarily. Like, reality is when you've got David Kampf, Pontus Holmberg, and Ryan Reeves, or Noah Gregor, if he's the guy who goes out there on a line together, going out consistently as a fourth line, they're not going to score that much. But when I'm talking about offensive contributions, I'm talking about, is the puck going in deep? Are they able to maintain offensive zone pressure? Are they able to get in on the forecheck? Can they keep the puck in the offensive zone for long enough for you to get guys off the ice and get your first line out there, get your second line out there, hem in defense, hem in third and fourth line, so that when you do get the opportunity to make a change, you can go out there and outmatch them without having it be a situation where you're now having to go just off of faceoffs. So if you can do that, then your fourth line is going to be beneficial to you. It's going to be something that can kind of push you in the right direction. And that's what happened. We had that numerous times out of this line here tonight. The third and the fourth line both had a few opportunities. I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, the fourth line is incredible. There's obviously some work to be done there. But think about where we were at the beginning of the year. We had people, old man yelling at Cloud, why is Ryan Reeves on this team? Tree Living's a moron. Why did he sign that? Dubas would have never signed that. Wah, wah, wah. And now we're in a position where Ryan Reeves is basically not talked about. And that's a good thing. He's on your fourth line. He's playing minimal minutes. He gets out there. He gets in hard on the forecheck. He creates a couple opportunities here and there. He's not being a defensive liability like what we were looking at the beginning of the season here as well. He's kind of just fit in. Everything feels like it's settled in. At the beginning, you're probably going for him. He's going out here on the ice with a lot of noise surrounding him. People are pissed off that he's here. People in Toronto traditionally, especially the media that's been here, haven't liked that type of player. They don't like that guy fitting into this Leafs team when it's so high-skilled, fast-paced, up and down the ice, which it's great to have that, but you do need a little bit of a balance. So there was a pressure coming on him. Now, you got to find a way to get through that for sure, but Ryan Reeves feels like now he's kind of gotten into a little bit of a roll, started to roll here. It looks like things are starting to go his direction. It's hard to be mad about what he's done. It's hard to be mad about the level of play that he's brought over the last little while, because him fitting into that fourth line, he doesn't look out of place. He doesn't look like he's getting burned that often. It feels like he's kind of in a position where you're like, you know what? I like having him around. Do I think that Tree Living paid him too much? Yeah, I do. But it is what it is. We'll make it work. Blake Grimm, Coors Light or Coors Banquet? Depends on the occasion. If you're bringing these, if these are in the room and someone else is bringing them for a post game, the Coors Banquet. For a pre-game, if you're going out, men's league, The Coors Banquet can be a little bit heavy. The Coors Light's a little bit nicer. It's like basically hydration before you go out on the ice anyways. So the Coors Banquet for a little pre-game, if that's what you're doing. Coors Light, probably the option there. Coors Banquet post-game, I think, is probably how you balance some things out. I think that's the way to go if you're going to do those. If we're talking about just a night out, I'm not even touching the Coors Lights. Coors Banquets only. Like, I think that's the way for me to play it. I'd rather, if I'm filling myself up with beer and we're getting bloated here, Coors Banquet. Just don't even think about it. Just go, go, go. Coors Banquet. Yeah. All gas, no brakes. That's what we're talking about. Special teams, special plays, special players. And that's what we've got here on this Leafs team right now. Continuing on with some of these super chats that we got rocking. Again, if you are watching right now and you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications, so get things rocking. We are 10 likes away now from the Smelling Salts. You guys know how that works. 50, 100, 150. You guys hit those milestones, we bring them out. So hit that like button. Let's get it going. Another super chat. CD Corn. I appreciate the super chat there, CD. CD says, scathing hot broth for the B-Day boy, Conn Smythe. Wow. First and foremost, if you're not familiar with CD Corn and his work, CD gives us a temperature check on the soup after each of these Leafs games. Comes in, lets us know what's going on with the team, how he's feeling about the heat, the temperature surrounding them, where he's at in general. Scathing hot broth tonight. And in particular here, Tyler Bertuzzi, scathing hot. So, shout out to CD. Appreciate that. There's something interesting here to unpack, though. I like this. Conn Smythe. Look. We're obviously getting ridiculous. We're going to make some insane statements here right now. I'm fine with that. Conn Smythe would obviously assume this Leafs team would win the Stanley Cup. I'm not going to be the one to say that. CD Corn said it, not me. But the thing to unpack there is the piece of it that Tyler Bertuzzi would have to be a guy who would be that level of impact player when it comes to the playoffs. I think that's who we've all thought he would be this whole year. I think that's kind of who we all hoped and expected him to turn into as things progressed. I don't think any of us really expected. I mean, look, I did a little bit to a degree when he was going to be projected to be playing on that first line with Matthews and Marner. I thought he might have himself an incredible season from points perspective, just getting to play alongside those guys. But more for me, I'm looking at this going, I need him in the playoffs. That's the player I want on my roster come playoff time. I'm starting to see that player in him on a nightly basis here on that second line along with Domi and Nylander. I'm seeing it come out. I'm seeing it become more consistent. I'm seeing it be a more frequent theme. It seems like the other guys on the team are buying into it. It seems like that entire line is buying into it. Nylander has less back down. There was a play that I was looking at here against Colorado. I think it was in the third period. He goes up against a defenseman, gets a puck by him, makes a move around, and the puck goes into the corner in a battle. There's two Avalanche players coming on him right away. One of them's kind of just off his back shoulder. The other one's in front, going to close off the ability for him to go and just drive through and kind of go around. He goes into the corner, first man in on the puck. That's something that you can't necessarily say has been a theme of William Nylander's game throughout his entire time he's been in the league. It's obviously started to build in over the last couple of years, but to just see this consistently here now, against the Flyers, against the Coyotes, against the Vegas Golden Knights, against the Colorado Avalanche. And you start to see that out of a guy like William Nylander, who traditionally has taken a lot of shit from people around the city, whether it's media members or fans, myself included, for some of the lack of effort in some of those plays, or the lack of care to go and win those battles and get in the mix. To see him now more consistently do that, to see him in throwaway games against the Ducks and the Coyotes do that, it's like this trigger going off of something is different. Something feels different with how they are playing. And I know that people are going to be kind of pissed off with where I was at the beginning of the season to kind of the conversation we're having now. the thing for me is, yeah, this is a small sample size, but the way that they're playing right now is far more indicative of a team that could have success in the playoffs than the way that they've played in the past 7 years. And what I mean by that is you're now seeing guys blocking shots with their heads, blocking shots up 2-3 goals late in games. You're seeing guys going in and getting in battles in the corner, being willing to take hits to make plays. You're seeing a buy-in. You're also seeing these guys stick up for each other and stick up for the logo on the front of the jersey and not just the name on the back. And once you start to see that on a consistent basis, you see that building into their game night after night after night. Now, over this last 7 games, it's really come through where you could see these guys getting in scrums, sticking up for each other, punching guys in the head because they just don't care anymore. It's like, I know that if I go in there and do this, he's got my back. I've got his back if someone else does this to him. And now all of a sudden you start to build this confidence that is kind of like, this is what you need when it comes to the playoffs. You know, I was talking to some of my buddies about this team and about teams that have won in the past and what I was looking for out of them. And the kind of consistent theme of what was missing and what people felt about it was, traditionally, it gets lost in the shuffle that people think, oh, you need to have a team that's going to go out there and just beat the hell out of people. That's not really true, right? St. Louis, they weren't a team that would just go beat the crap out of people. The Penguins wouldn't really do that. The Capitals weren't really a team that would do that. But those were teams that were, for the most part, just not afraid. Now, look at some of those teams. Look at some of the guys on those teams. Some of it is just going to be built from the character that you have within that locker room. It's just going to be inspired throughout with guys like Bortuzzo or guys like Tom Wilson in Washington. You know, you have those guys in the room. They're going to be willing to run through a wall for each other because at any given moment, they're going to have each other's backs. That's kind of what we wanted to see out of this Leafs team. Now, I want to see this continue because if this is just a flash in the pan and they're going to do this for 7 games and then they're going to piss off next week into the next games that they play, then I'm going to be right back to a point of frustration where I'm going to be looking at this team going, they are who we thought they were. They're never going to change. These things aren't going to go away. I'm seeing signs of life here that we hadn't really seen in years past. I just want to see it continue to build. One more like till 50 here. Hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. We got more super chats. Derek Gamble, I'd like to say we called Bertuzzi was going to do great things 6 games ago. Derek, we've been having this fight. We've been fighting the good fight on this one for like the past 20 games where people were basically bowing out on Bertuzzi and having trade conversations. Do we get rid of this guy conversations? Not anymore. Those conversations have died. Tyler Bertuzzi is here to stay. We hit 50 likes. I appreciate everyone who liked the stream. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. You know what happens. 50, 100, 150. We hit the smelling salts. We are over 50 now. We'll hit these ones. You guys get it to 100. We do it again. It's simple as that. Simple as that. You guys like misery. You guys like pain. When things are going poorly for this Leafs team, you guys show up. You come in the chat. You go crazy here with me. We're all on the same page, losing our minds about this team. When they win, it's a little bit more quiet. We don't have as many people in here going nuts and stuff. Yeah, people are excited, but it's just not the same. It's not the same energy to a degree. Because for some reason, you guys like the sharing the misery with me. I don't even think it's that you guys are at the point of like, oh, you want to be miserable. I think you like seeing me miserable. Well, when this Leafs team wins, another way to see me go through pain, smelling salts. Easy as that. Do the smelling salts here on camera for you guys. Hit the like button. Let's get to 100. I'll do them again shortly. Whoa. All right. Continue on with super chats. We got more. Phenom, super chat. Phenom, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Phenom says, last year at this time, we didn't have net front presence. Now we have Nye/Bertuzzi. We're close to getting Wall back. Best scorer in the game. Think big time. I don't know. I'm still not necessarily there. The other thing is like, oh, this team's rolling. Why are we going to go nuts on some trade? Again, I don't want to touch on it too much here, Phenom. We can talk about some of the other things that you've got with this team that you pointed out there, but I will say that realistically, I think you just tinker a little bit. I don't think you go crazy. If you're going to make a trade, and you're going to go nuts, it's got to be for a guy with term. Like, otherwise there's no point of wasting it. There's no point of like mortgaging this stuff. That's how you have to kind of gauge some of this, in my opinion, at least. Now, to the other points that you've brought up here, the other things you said here in the super chat. Last year at this time, we didn't have net front presence. Now we have Nye/Burt. I think that this is an important thing. We obviously kind of got those guys in the deadline or after the deadline. Like, you get Nye's coming up from college. Okay, he's here, but he's here late. You get Ryan O'Reilly, who's going to be a grittier, tougher player, Achari, etc. The difference is between that and this year, to me, is that you have now had these guys instilled in the culture and the character and the identity of this team from day one. They were here in the summer. They were here in camp. They were here in the preseason. Like, they've been through it all. They've been around these guys. They're able to build some type of chemistry and have that start rocking. And now, kind of because these guys are here, their line mates are used to it, the coach is used to it, you're able to just not have to go out and search over every single hill and valley that around the NHL to find a player to come in here and bring that type of energy, bring that type of skill that you were missing before. Like, in terms of the actual, like, ability to go to the front of the net, win net front position, not battle or not miss out on these guys, or miss out on these opportunities in front of the net because these guys were scared away or scared to be there. Now you had these guys the entire time. And I think that that's a benefit to this team. I see Kirk Tuss saying Cope, Arwar is missed. He didn't want to sign here. I also, as for last year, he played well when he got here. I'm not saying he didn't play well when he was here last year. He played well when he got here. But the point is, of what I'm saying and what I was trying to talk about there, he came late. Like, he came late into the year. You're just throwing these pieces in that you just haven't traditionally had on this team and saying like, oh, go make it work. And then when you look around at the lineup and you look at these guys matching up together or matching up in certain situations or trying to figure out lines that work and can get chemistry, you're going to be battling because they've only been here for 20 games. And now you're in the playoffs. It's the most important time of the year. You don't get that opportunity to go into the blender and mix things up. You just don't get that. You've had these guys here for the whole season now. It's going to be much easier for you to figure out what does and doesn't work. Kirk saying he did want to sign Arwar, hated Keefe. Look, man, I don't know. Do you know that as fact? Like, do we know that as fact? I don't think we do. Reality is I just don't think we do. So, whatever. It is what it is. Continue on. More super chats. Thank you, Max, as always, for the super chat there. Max says they scored the second. Riley and Brody were reunited. Yeah. I was sitting there watching, and I'm like, why are these guys together? Like, 5 games of TJ Brody on the left side works there. 5 games of him finally starting to figure some things out for what's been an otherwise pretty rough season in regards to his standards. And then the game against Vegas, you don't put them in together. The game against Vegas, you give them an opportunity to kind of play with some other people. You leave Brody in the pairing that he's been in. Leave him in that comfortability. They play well again. The team plays well again. Team plays well defensively. You win 6 straight. You go into this game against the Avs here tonight, and very quickly into the game, Sheldon Keefe decides, you know what? I got to put these guys back together. I got to give them another chance. I got to let them go and be on a D pairing together. And they get scored on. What are we doing? Thank God it changed after the fact, but I'm sitting there watching that, And I'm going, how in our right minds did we decide that these guys had to be put on the same D pair? How did we decide that after 6 games, 5 without Morgan Rielly even in this lineup, watching TJ Brodie play on the left side, watching him be comfortable, watching him go out on the ice and be an effective defenseman, much closer to what he was when he first got here, how did we now decide in Game 7 of this stretch, sorry, not a playoff series, a Game 7 of this stretch against the Colorado Avalanche in Colorado in a tough situation, he said, you know what, fuck it. Brodie's got to be on the right side with Morgan Rielly. What the hell is even that? I was watching that and I'm going, what is going on? Why are they together? Like, is this a mess up? Did they just accidentally get out there together? In my head, I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? Maybe don't go crazy here over this one because like Simone Ben was coming out of the box. Maybe he's got to fix things. And I'm thinking about it again. And I'm like, no, this is just not acceptable. This is not right. This is not how you should be doing this. And that's the thing that concerns me with Keefe is some of the stubbornness of like, nope, these guys, like, you know what? I've liked this, and this has to go together. And then when we all sit here, we watch these things that work, and then we just watch him just be like, no, I got to go back to this. And you're like, oh my God. So that one, it was shocking. They got scored against, and part of it was Rielly getting absolutely burned down the side. I mean, you know what? I wish Morgan Rielly was better defensively. He's not. So what am I going to do? I'm going to ask for him to be something he isn't? No. Okay. So whatever. Move on there. So Morgan Rielly just not that good, not as good defensively. But also on top of that, by the way, people, holy shit, is Nathan Mackinnon good. That guy is so much fun to watch. Like that guy, you want to talk about special teams, special plays, and special players. That guy is fun to watch on a nightly basis. The impact that he has on a game, the way he's able to just kind of take over. Like even looking at that final one, which we will get to. There's a super chat here about it as well. JT goes down. He's got an empty net. I don't know how the hell he's not scoring on the empty net, but nonetheless, Davs come down the other way, and Nate MacKinnon basically turns on the afterburners and just goes one-man show through 5 guys and just wheels past everybody and gets a shot off. Like, insane player. So that play where he's able to beat Morgan Rielly down the wall, like, yeah, obviously I wish that Morgan Rielly was a little bit better and able to get there, but even some of the best defensemen in the world are just going to get cooked by a guy like MacKinnon moving at that pace. So whatever, that is what it is. But the other side of it is TJ Brodie going sliding across on like a 2-on-1 and just missing, and MacKinnon pulls up and then makes the pass back across, and Cogliano into the soft spot of the ice, able to bury. Thank God they changed them after. They got away from it. They went back, and yeah, I needed it. I needed that pairing split. Another super chat here. Steven Land, super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey Zach, how are you? Steven, pretty good, buddy. Pretty good. Thank you for the super chat there as well. You are wearing the jersey. Yes, I am. I told you we're going all dark tonight because tonight is a dark night for the Bertuzzi haters. So I'm going with the theme. Dark pants, dark shirt, dark jersey, dark hat. We got to rock with it. 17 more likes. We bring out more smelling salts. Keep hitting the like button here. Keep hitting, keep subscribing to the channel. Bremy, we all have that buddy who's pretty bad at blackjack as well. I know you're talking about. Every now and then you just gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Now, another super chat. Super chat here from Derek Gamble. Derek says, did we talk about the JT missed empty net? I personally thought it was great. He didn't go for it. Derek, I appreciate you. I appreciate the super chat. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I did not think it was great that he didn't go for it. That's the Colorado Avalanche. There was about 10, I think, or so seconds left at that point in time when he's got the opportunity. This guy just blacked out. He blacked out. I don't know what happened. You're John Tavares. You're at center ice. You've got an opportunity to shoot at an empty net. Mind you, yeah, there's a defenseman coming over and putting pressure on you, taking some time and space away from you. But you've got your stick over to the other side as well. Like, it's not like he had his stick into the middle. He's got it over to the other side. He's got a shot at the net there. Even if you miss, the other thought of this I was having when I was watching it and watched it back is like, even if you miss, now that puck is down there and you're still going with speed down. Like Craig's saying, 10 seconds left for the 2-goal lead, done deal. Like, game's over. You finish that. I'd much rather have him score. Like, I could not believe that he didn't shoot it. I thought he had a great opportunity at the net. He even gets inside the blue line, and I'm like, oh, well, this is a goal. Like, JT's gonna get this, and then he just blacked out. Like, this guy just blacked out. I didn't even have like an explanation for what happened. Like, yeah, Max saying he's gassed at the end of the game of a hard game. Yeah, like, yeah, that's fine. But like, you'd think that at $11.5 million, he might be able to just like slide that one in and just curl it into the net. I don't know. The tunnel vision that occurred was insane. The tunnel vision that occurred on that play, or would have occurred for me on that play when I'm going and staring at an empty net, I couldn't believe it. I disagree. I don't think that it was great that he didn't go for it. I think he should have gone for it. I think he had to go for it. And I was scared shitless when he didn't shoot and he falls down and then the Avs go down the other way. Because as I just mentioned there with Nathan Mackinnon and his speed, intensity, passion, how quickly he moves, he moves up and down the ice, north, south. I was thinking there's a good opportunity here for him to be able to score and them to tie this game. I'm like, this is fucked. And knowing how the things go with this Leafs team and knowing everyone out there is hoping and praying that the Leafs don't get to 7 wins so that they don't have to turn on TSN on Monday morning and hear the 15 minutes of Leafs talk. You're waiting. You know McKinnon's going to be coming down with speed the other way, ready to score. And I didn't think it was great that he didn't go for it. I don't know. I appreciate the super chat, Derek, but God, what the hell was that? Put it in the empty net, dude. There we go. We're caught up on the super chats here. Thank you to everyone who sent them. If you do want to call into the show here tonight, you guys are more than welcome to. I will send you a link. Message me on Twitter, Instagram. You can message me on Discord or whatever. I'm happy to hear people's thoughts on the game. Happy to hear where people are at with this team. Tyler Bertuzzi, the night that he had tonight. Samsonov, how he's been playing. I think like one of the things too here with Samsonov is it's kind of just coming at the right time as well because the team's playing better in front. So you're getting more kind of defensive commitment from them. And then on top of that, so it's making things easier for Samsonov because I think before he was probably having to face way more difficult opportunities that were coming at a much higher rate for this against this Leafs team, over and over and over again. And then on top of that, this guy was a shooter in net, right? Like he was like, it seemed like he was scared of the puck. He was fighting the puck every single time he was out there. Wasn't able to kind of get himself back into the right mental headspace where it was like, yeah, you let in a shitty goal. Now, flip side, okay, how do you bounce back from this? Well, he would let in a shitty goal and he would turn around, look at himself in the glass behind the net while the red light's going off and he can see his reflection clearly and he's saying, you fucking suck, dude. You're not going to save the next one. And then guess what? Now that's in your head. You go down the ice, or the puck comes down the ice on you. It goes in the back of the net. And now you've given up 2 in a minute and things are shot. Things are shot for the team. Things are shot for you. Confidence-wise, all of it. It's just kind of gone. I think the way the team's playing right now, limiting some of the opportunities, he's not getting bombarded as much as he was before, and he's just playing better. Like, he's just playing better than what was going on originally. So I think that those kind of two things colliding at the same time, it's the perfect combination of events here. It sets both of them up for success. It sets the Leafs up to kind of stop bleeding goals. It sets Samsonov up for a good position here where he's not going to be bombarded with shots and opportunities. He's not going to wear out. His mentals aren't going to get on him too much. You're just heading in heading in the right direction with those two things happening at once. Another super chat here. Joe Hill, thank you for the super chat. Joe, good to see you. Appreciate the support. Thank you for the super chat here. Joe says, I'm here for some Burt love. Hope all is well, guys. Joe, hope all is well with you there too. As for the Burt love, let's talk about it. Touched on it a little bit. We've off the start. Obviously, for myself, that's something and someone I will be victory lapping throughout the season, throughout the rest of the season. If he continues to at least even play the way that he's playing, I'm not just talking about scoring goals or getting hat tricks here. I'm genuinely talking about if he plays and is this effective down the stretch and into the playoffs. This is a guy I will personally be going nuts about every single night just because of how impactful I think he is on this team, on the line that he's on, and how good he's going to be in the playoffs. This guy is he's a playoff player. That's why you signed him. You didn't sign him for 82 games. You didn't sign him for the regular season. You signed him to be the guy that shows up when the going gets tough. He's the guy who goes to the front of the net. He's the guy who creates time and space because he is now distracting the goaltender. He's now distracting an extra defenseman. Whereas before, it felt like these penalty kills that were playing this Leafs team could probably play a little bit looser, where they could, when things got tough, they could get out a little bit more, put some pressure on your guys on the outside, because JT wasn't really as much of a stand in the front, give you some whacks, take some whacks himself type of player. Obviously, when I say this, keep in mind, I'm not diminishing what John Tavares has done in his career on the power play or who he is on the power play, okay? Please do not take that out of context. The point being is that you just kind of had 5 players on the ice who all did very similar things at that point. Like, you have JT, Nylander, Marner, Matthews, Riley. You're not really getting somebody who brings some different element to that lineup, to that power play. So what happens when you get to the playoffs? What happens when you get there and the rules are a little bit more lenient? You're not getting as many power plays, but then when you do, you go out there, the ref's not going to be as quick on the whistle to add on more. So you know what happens in situations like that? They're going to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to be a little bit more kind of in your face, get the fuck out of the way, get out of the front of my net. We're not going to let you be here. Tavares is the kind of guy who's maybe, yeah, he's going to stick around the front, but he'll kind of start to push out a little bit, maybe take steps away and not just be as much in it. He's not going to be as much in the shit in the slot. Bertuzzi will. There's a couple clips, if people want to go and watch of him here tonight. Watch exactly where he stands in front of the goaltender. And then the first little bit that it's happening, he kind of stands there and gets in front of the goalie. And then you'll notice that what ends up happening with him is now a defenseman gets drawn into the play a little bit there. They got to kind of go in with them. They got to be around the situation, and they got to be there kind of tucking into the middle a little bit more, which gives Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Morgan Riley more of an opportunity on the outside as well. Yes, someone did say GTG. Wag. Couple wags here this weekend. What a game. Honestly, what a game. Wilfred saying, what a win. Wah. Wag. What a game for the Leafs team and for my hockey team this week. Guys, things are trending in the right direction here. I'm not going to lie. All the way around. Let's get a little bit personal here, you know? We got Leafs 7 in a row. Thursday night before we go on to the stream and do the end of the Vegas game, we've got a 9-2 victory over at 9-1 victory over on Mattamy Ice. Hop on over here. We do the post game. Matthews scores 52. He's 5th, 6th all time in NHL scoring since 2010. He entered the league in 2016. Is that any good? Ties Jeff Skinner there. 400 less games. Is that any good? Couple pints with the boys last night. Now we rock into tonight. Another wag from this Leafs team. Keep rocking here. Against the Colorado Avalanche. 4 games in 6 nights. 4 games on the road. 4 wins on the road. 5 without Morgan Riley. 2 with him back in the lineup here. Tyler Bertuzzi 3-goal night. What a night. What a week. What a weekend. And on top of all that, we're just going to roll right back into this one, into the playoffs, starting to get things going. The Leafs and the Tunas. What a time. Continuing to break down what happened here tonight as well. If you guys have questions, please send them in the chat. We'll continue to answer those. And on top of that, 8 more likes until more smelling salts. So if you haven't hit the like button already, it's that simple. 8 more likes. We'll hit the smelling salts and continue to go here. About 45 minutes in, we will do some player of the game as well as grades of the game as well. So, and we'll do that and get out of here, but we'll probably go for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. So about maybe another 15, 20 minutes here of the show, but continue to read through. There's a couple things that I wrote down, that I wrote down during the game. Obviously there was a lot of positivity, about the, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. You guys are firing right now. Universe gives and it takes. Not the Leafs right now. All they do is take. You guys are buzzing in the chat though right now. Thank you guys. 3 more likes. Okay, couple things. First, taking advantage of opportunities on the power play. This is something that's plagued the Leafs when they've got to the playoffs. It's been something that has been absolutely detrimental to them and their ability to have success because, yeah, people can sit here and say, well, power play doesn't really matter that much in the playoffs because you don't get them. Well, you know what happens when you get to the playoffs and you do get your power play opportunities? You need to capitalize on them. Over the past few years, this Leafs team has been struggling with the idea of all of a sudden, they just can't get it done on the power play anymore. They can't take advantage of other teams making these mistakes, giving them these opportunities. And then once your power play starts dwindling, like that, your lines are messed up coming out of that, which we've known before because now in the past, you've loaded up Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. So now you've got 4 of your top 6. It screws you from that standpoint. Then you go back after them for your 2-minute shifts. You've got to now throw out your third line. Momentum's now in the other team's favor. They've killed off a penalty against your big boys who are supposed to be the top point getters, playmakers, goal scorers around the NHL. Momentum's now on their side. They're coming out of that one fired up. They've come out with a kill. They're not giving up too many opportunities, all that kind of stuff. And it's also just killing off clock. It's killing off 2 minutes every time you go out there and you can't score goals. If you go out there and you're against a team, you're down 1, you get a power play opportunity. You need to capitalize. This obviously isn't the playoffs. This game here tonight, we're not in the playoffs. I get that. But this is a tough team who plays tough, plays you like a playoff team. The last time we played them, we blew that big lead. Colorado comes back and they win it. Like, this is a hard team to play against that knows how to play in the playoffs and has had success playing in the playoffs. You find ways to bury on your power play opportunities here tonight. This is a completely different game than what it could have been had they not. Think about the fact that you come out there, first power play opportunity of the night, you're burying. Tyler Bertuzzi, stud. Don't mind me, but I may or may not have told us, you guys here in the chat for a while, let's get this guy out there on the power play, give him an opportunity because, hey, who would have thought that having a guy who had success his entire career on power play 1, whether it was in Boston or Detroit, and made a ton of his money from being a guy who creates havoc and scores goals on the power play, who would have thought that putting that guy on the power play 1 and giving him more than 20 seconds a night might actually benefit you and might turn into you being able to score him and him finding some of his rhythm and his groove. Oh, all of a sudden he's getting some more minutes a night. He's playing more than 20 seconds on the power play. That kind of stuff is going to help. It's going to help you feel more involved in the game. It's going to help you feel like you're doing the right thing. So this Leafs team, 2 power play opportunities tonight, 2 power play goals. You get that early one, you're able to score. Then also the other thing that I was looking at, that late opportunity, tie game, the Avs had been rocking. You know how many chances they had compared to what the Leafs were at in that third period? It didn't feel like the Leafs were getting bombarded by any means or were just getting absolutely thumped. I didn't think that or feel like that. But that being said, it did feel like the Avs were starting to cook. And if you didn't do something about it sooner than later, you were ultimately likely looking down at a situation where at some point here, That Avs team is going to find a way to break through. And it just felt like it was an inevitable. Rantanen takes a stupid penalty. By stupid, I just mean if you flick the puck out of the zone from your own end when you've got enough time like that and you're that skilled of a player, like especially with 4 minutes left in the game or whatever, like a couple minutes left in the game, like that's a stupid penalty at a stupid time, tie game. Bad play. But you have now an opportunity to close this thing out, essentially, score a goal, take a go-ahead lead with a couple minutes left against a tough team in their barn. You don't score there, you're probably looking at the Avs building momentum. You might be looking at them having some opportunities shorthanded as well. And then you come out of that, they're going to be ready to rock. They're going to fire out McKinnon, Rantanen again, Cale Makar, Taves. Like, these guys are coming over the boards, and they want to score goals. They want to win this game against you. You bury on that power play. Very different look of the game here tonight. Very, very different outlook. So just the ability to find ways to get it done on the power play. 2 for 2 here on the night. Shout out to this Leafs team for doing that, because we've seen them a lot be in positions where they play these tougher teams, and you get these opportunities and you can't capitalize on their mistakes. And they did tonight. So shout out to them. Another super chat here. All right. Super chat from Joe Hill. I appreciate that, Joe. Joe says, it's looking like Sammy's rehab down in the AHL is paying off. I was skeptical, but it seems to have taken, and that's awesome. Yeah, it does seem to have taken. I think that the biggest thing for him probably was just confidence. We've known, realistically, with Samsonov, I don't think that Samsonov is a super strong, elite, whatever words you want to use, goaltender in the NHL, whether it's positionally, reactionary, or even just like how he is structurally. I don't think he is. I don't think he's like that. But what he is he's good enough. He battles, and you can kind of just see that intensity come out of him where he's a competitor. He's a gamer. The issue that he has is in a lot of these situations, he lets in bad goals and he deals with these very, very strong emotional swings, one way or the other. Last year, we were looking at this guy be happy about situations, happy about winning games, and he'd go into the media and have the biggest smile, and we all loved his post-game pressers. We all loved everything that he brought when he went into those interviews. This year, it was like, I let in a shitty goal, I suck. I let in a shitty goal, I'm the worst goalie in the world. And it's like, dude, fuck. Like I get it. It's tough. It's hard, but like I'm playing Mensley with a goalie who's letting in 8 goals and like we lose 8-7. Like, it's like one more save situation. You just need that one more from the guy. That guy's got a positive mindset. He's ready to go next week. He's ready to jump into the play. He's ready to be back out there, fired up and ready to go. Why is Samsonov making millions of dollars and, getting on himself to this degree? You just need a little bit more positivity sometimes. It's not like you can go be all the way on the other side. When you play a shitty game, you'll be like, oh, it's fine, everything's good. But, like, also, it's not the end of the world here, dude. I think he goes down to the AHL there, probably gains a little bit more confidence because he's playing against a little bit lesser competition. He's not going to have to fight through that all the time. So he plays a couple better games and then just starts to build some of that stuff back up. Every time he went in the net in the NHL, he thinks he's going to get absolutely shelled, whether it's shots against or he's going to be getting absolutely lit up and, sunburns on his neck from the light going off behind him. But he's going in almost with the mentality of like, I'm not going to make a save tonight. The team in front of him is almost looking down there going, holy shit, that guy's not going to make a save tonight. Like, it's just, it's a tough scene for that guy going into those situations night in, night out. Now you just go down to the AHL and it's like, oh, well, you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be fine. It seemed like the team always had faith in him. It seemed like the team had confidence. They send him down to the AHL, gets a couple games under his belt, gets that confidence back, and starts to rock. He still isn't looking incredible. I'm like, what we can't just be like, oh, like he's back, he's good. Like, he's not. But he looks good. He looks above average. And we know that this is a guy who can get hot. He did it last year. He did it in the playoff series against Tampa. So let's not panic on this goalie situation for where we're at right now. Should be okay. You've got Wall, who should be coming back at some point. Martin Jones has been serviceable. Seems like our goalie situation is good enough. I think I'm fine with it. I think I'm good with where we're at. We hit 100 likes here. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate all the likes, subscriptions. I appreciate the comments. Everyone in the chat right now. Everyone in the chat. Thank you guys. We'll hit the smelling salts here at 100. Thank you. Sorry, Greenie. It wasn't a personal shot. I need some new smelling salts. These things are starting to wear down a little bit. We got to get some fresh ones for the playoffs so we can just absolutely knock my head off when the playoffs come. For you guys, not for me. For you guys. Because you guys are absolute sickos. Daniil Tarasov or Sammy? Sammy, 100%. Tarasov stinks. Tarasov is brutal, man. Ryan gonna butcher this. Sorry, Queen. Do you think Toronto Maple Leafs would get this player from San Jose, Mario Ferraro? I don't know. Look, questions like that are a little bit tougher, truthfully. Do you think they'll get this player? And do you think they should get this player are probably two different things. Do you think they'll get them? I don't know. It seems like Brad Treliving is just like in on everybody. And so any conversation that we hear come up is like, who knows? Like at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they trade for any player that pops up. Like it would honestly get to the point where it's like there's probably players out there that we're not even hearing about that this Leafs team might make a trade for, and then we're just gonna be like, oh, cool. Like it just pops up out of nowhere, and we just have to deal with it or analyze it after the fact. So I feel like that might be coming down the stretch. I don't know. As for should they trade for him, he's a fine defenseman. I think he could probably be impactful here, but realistically, to me, I think if you're going to go out there and trade for a guy, you're looking for a right D who's going to play. That's the wrong site. I tried to bring up something to show you guys so that I could show contracts. There it is. I think if you're going to trade for a guy, the only trade you should realistically be making is the similar trades that you've gone, or the type of player that you've gone out and acquired to play alongside Morgan Riley, the Luke Shen, the Ron Hainsey type of guy, like that player to be his, that player to kind of be his like partner, his guy to help him out, prop him up, and just be like a supporting cast out there where it's not like this player that's above and beyond. So you're looking at a right D. You're probably mostly looking at a right-handed D, especially based on what we've seen here. It also pushes Brody down in the lineup. You get more out of him on the left side. I just think it's better all around. Mario Ferraro is $3.25 million per year. He's term, which is nice. He's got the rest of this season. He's got 24-25, and he's got 25-26. So, okay, that's fine. You got some term on it if you're going to be making that trade. He's left-handed. You're going to have to find a way to get some of this money out to bring in a guy at 3.25. He is left-handed as well. I don't know that I necessarily want him playing on that first D pair with Morgan Riley. It's not to say that he can't do it, but you're going to put a lefty up there again after what we've just went through with TJ Brody on that side. I don't know. Like, I'm not jumping out of my chair to go and make this trade. I'm just not. And a goal, 13 points this season, it's fine. It's just like, I don't think he's the needle mover that maybe we kind of have pinned on. That being said, if you think you're going to upgrade Simone Benoit and put him over Benoit and play him with McCabe, and that's what you'd want to do, then okay, that's a different conversation though. And I don't think you're going and getting a guy at 3.25 to do that. I just don't. And I would advise against it as well. Couple more super chats here. Want to answer these. I did see my friend Jeremy Kahn in the chat earlier as well, saying congratulations on the 7 wins. Thank you. Congratulations on what the Rangers are up to. If I'm correct, didn't the Rangers get 10 straight? Am I wrong? Is that not what happened? Did the Rangers not get 10 straight here tonight? Let me just pull up their season. Yeah, 10 straight for the Rangers. So shout out to them. Shout out to you there, Jeremy. Appreciate it. I know you're a Rangers fan, but still showing up to the chat. All right, couple more super chats. Derek Gamble, thank you, Derek, again for another super chat here. Derek says, not Leaf stuff, but how about that Rangers Flyers tilt? My God, awesome. It was pretty sick. Those guys were absolutely throwing bombs. It seemed like Delorier had some respect for him. Like, he had a point there where he had... I'm going to butcher the guy's name. I don't want to butcher the guy's name. How to say it? Rempe? I probably said it wrong anyways. But he had a couple points there where he had his jersey over his head. Doesn't take that shot. Doesn't take that cheap shot where he can't see you. Nothing like that. It also felt like Delorier kind of was like, all right, here's your opportunity. They gave him the chat in warm-up. The other thing that I thought was a pretty cool point about that, obviously we're not talking about the Leafs game here now, but Aaron Ward tweeted out, which I didn't really think about, but it makes sense. You're a young guy. You've got your opportunity with this team. Everybody on your team knows that you just got called out in warm-up by Delorier, or at least like challenged to this. Between the warm-up to the start of the game, there's a lot of time. And you're going to go back into the room. You're going to sit down. You're going to sit there and wait for the Zamboni. You're going to have your head down in your lap. You're going to be thinking about what you just heard from Delorier, what went on out on the ice. Then you're going to come back out to the bench. You're going to sit there while they do presentations and national anthems and then starting lineups. And then the puck drops, and you've now waited for basically like 25, maybe more, 30 minutes thinking. And everyone knows what you're going through. And you could easily just pull shoot and say, I'm not going to do it. Rempe went out there and just said, fuck it, let's go. And my God, did those two throw bombs. Bomb after bomb, back and forth. Like, it was just haymakers endlessly. That was insanely fun to watch. That's old school hockey. Eddie Shore, foil on the hands, that kind of stuff. That was gritty. That was fun to watch. And watching them both walk away from it, like, I don't think there was definitively a winner in that. I think the winners were the fans that got to watch it, us on TV, us on watching on social media, and the people in that building. I think those are the people who won. But those two dudes walked away like having eaten punches. Delorier has the massive bruise on his head. Like, the whole thing was pretty sick. Another super chat here, Michael. Michael, appreciate the super chat. Yawning, sorry. Michael says, Zach, I've been a fanatic fan of the Leafs, but I must be the most critical one during the Dubas era. But this year I like the mix and playing the right way. Yeah, I think everyone was pretty critical there of Dubas. Again, thank you for the super chat. I think everyone was pretty critical of what was happening, but it was always retroactive, right? Like, we'd get to the playoffs, look back and be like, what the hell happened? We were missing this, and this. Or these things that he brought in and did well, it was just too late. I think he did a good job of recognizing we need grit, we need depth center, like all that kind of shit. But like, some of it was just too little too late. Some of it was avoidable. Relying on Alex Kerfoot to play up in your top 6 consistently, like, it's just not going to work. You had too much of the same player, like that stuff. It was, yeah. As for what you're saying about, like, I like the mix and playing the right way, it's not like too much has changed. But I think that the main thing here with it is that the guys that they have on this team who were here from the beginning of the season are guys that they might have traditionally gone out and tried to get at the deadline to bring in. And then that's what I'm talking about when it's the too little too late. Now where we're seeing, and what I'm kind of talking about, and again, small sample, so I want to see this go on longer. Like, it took 50 games to start to get this for the first time. But now maybe you see this like build and you get 7 games of it, and hopefully it can last on for the last 20 something to close out this year. But it's the way that they're playing. And I think having those guys built into your roster, I think having those guys be around the team, making some type of impact there, whether it's in the locker room, if it's on the ice, if it's being not being afraid of sticking up for themselves and their teammates and that kind of stuff, them being around can kind of start to instill that character, identity, attitude that the team has and make it a more cultural thing and not just, oh, a couple of these guys have it. And I think that's what we're starting to see now, where it's like, oh, they've got this built in. They're playing the right way. So, Michael, thank you. Appreciate it. We got another super chat. Michael, if they made trades, they should be for the long-term improvement for the team, and these players won't always be available, but not for the playoffs. I appreciate I appreciate the super chat. There's not really anything I can add here, Michael, to what you said. This is kind of what I've talked about throughout the show. It's what I talked about at the beginning. Yeah, I think if you're going to make a trade, you're doing one of two things. You're making a minor move that's like not going crazy where you're going to be trading like first, second round picks, prospects to go and acquire a guy. You're going to be just like making some tinker, or you're going to go big on something, but it's for a guy who's like really, really, really good and term, like, and has 2 years, and is having salary retained, that kind of stuff. That's the guy that you're looking at. Another super chat here. Joe Hill, again, thank you for the super chat, Joe. I appreciate it. Joe says, great win tonight. Great road trip. Avs are power play merchants. Keep the Bert Domi Willie line forever. See you guys soon. Joe, thank you. I don't have too much to add to this. I appreciate the super chat yet again here. Well, a little bit I'll talk about. Great win tonight. Yes, agreed. And this is one of those games where like I'm going to come into and say, you know what, this wasn't a perfect game, but what you're looking for to this team was four games in your last 6 days. You're on the final leg of a road trip. You've now dealt with guys being sick and injured and missing games throughout this. You're always having the next man up mentality. Tonight is one of those games like you're in Colorado, you're closing this one out, you're at altitude, you're playing a tough team. Can you find a way to win? Like great teams, I think, find ways to win. This Leafs team did here tonight. You found a way to win. So that's what I was happy about. That makes it a great win. This is not like a let's watch the tape, this was a perfect game. This is genuinely like, can you find a way? You did. Great road trip. Agreed. Avs are power play merchants. Joe, I disagree. I don't think they're power play merchants. I think the Avs are a really good team. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I got. And then, yes, the other thing, keep the Bert Domi Willie line forever. Connor Timmy in the chat, they're saying it too. Like, the thing that has kind of stood out to me with that line playing together, you get the second line that goes out there now is skilled. Is it okay? You're being sarcastic. Yeah. Okay. There you go. That second line, it's skilled. People don't necessarily realize how skilled Tyler Bertuzzi is. He's not of the echelon of Matthews, Nylander, Marner. He's not even into the second tier of players around the NHL that are of that underlying or that next level of skill and talent and stuff. Like, he's just not. He's not in that. That's fine. But he's way more skilled than people kind of give him credit for, and his ability to make plays and get involved and score goals, like, it's way higher than what people think. It's way higher than people have acknowledged him for. So now he's on that line with Domi, who's a true playmaker, and Nylander, who's a true goal scorer. It feels like you're going to start to get the right combination of guys. Then on top of that, you have a puck retriever. Bertuzzi's a guy who can go into corners, win battles, and get that puck for you. That could be his primary role. He's the dog on that line who goes in and chases the puck around the ice, chases the puck behind the net, wins those battles. He can go to the front of the net. He can win the battles in front of the net, that kind of stuff. Look at him in this game here tonight. How many passes did this guy block in the defensive zone by getting down on one knee, blocking a pass, or with his stick from going across, going backdoor, going in tight in the slot? How many times did he lay out and block shots here tonight against this Avs team in the second period, in the third period, to try to help do anything he could to win? That's something you're getting out of the second line now that you haven't got before. Whether it was to start the season or if it was dating back to last year, you just never really got that out of your second line because you've got Alex Kerfoot and fucking who else? Like Michael Bunting and stuff in there. These are not guys who are committing to that degree or being able to do those types of things that he's doing. Then additionally, looks like these guys are starting to build some chemistry. And the most important thing that Timmy brought up there in the chat, Willie playing tough. Tough has a different definition to us, and it should with these guys, than it does traditionally around the league when you look at some other players. Tough here for a guy like William Nylander is not being afraid. Tough for a guy like William Nylander is being able to go and stand in the slot when a scrum is happening after the play and you see Tyler Bertuzzi and you see Max Domi going at it and not leaving the pile. Staying in there, grab somebody, push them around, slash them in the knee. He's playing tough, and if you're going to get that out of your second line, you know what's going to happen? Matthews and Marner, they're going to look out there and be like, whoa, Willie's playing tough. Willie's involved in this shit. Willie's not afraid. And now they don't have to go in there, and he doesn't have to go in there as well and go punch guys in the head. But he can go in there and just stand there and be involved in it, and the other team's not going to look at these guys like a joke anymore. And I think that's a really, really important thing. And I think that those two guys on Nylander's line are going to elevate his game, his intensity, and his ability to go in there and battle. There's a question here that I really want to answer. Blake Brim, who was worse, Hall or Marinson? I was way harder on Hall because I would lose my absolute marbles for the fact that he would get the playing time that he did, and like Sheldon Keefe loved him as much as he did. But dude, Marinson was so bad. Marinson was the worst. Marinson was like shockingly bad in my opinion. He played in the NHL. Kudos to him. Like clearly I didn't. I'm sitting here talking to you guys about the NHL, and I wish it could have been there. But Marinson was so bad. I don't know. I'm not trying to ruin the guy's day if he's sitting at home and happens to come across this, or someone sends this to him or something, if that ever happened. But Marty, if you're out there, sometimes a long stick just doesn't cut it, brother. You got to be better than that. Super chat here. Phenom, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Phenom says, just some props to you, Zach. Thank you. Starting a new channel and keeping this great hockey community together. Thank you guys. I appreciate you following over. I appreciate all the support you guys continue to give and bringing this channel over here as we had to get this one started off from ground zero. Built this thing up from September 28th was the day that the channel was created. I think first video went out early October there, and almost 1,400 subscribers here now. Pretty cool. That's 5 months, 6 months here now that we've built this thing up and almost at 1,400. So thank you guys very much. I do appreciate that. I appreciate all the support. Let's keep it rocking here. Continue to subscribe if you haven't already. Continue to like the streams. More cool things coming. Promise you that. We'll continue to build this one up. As for bringing my A game for this week with the late games, thank you. I'm happy that I was able to do them. Good God, let's not make a habit of this, Leafs. Like, if we're gonna give us these late games, like give me like a Friday at 10 o'clock or something. Like doing that on Wednesday, finishing this at 1:30, working the next day, playing hockey, 9-1 win. Is that any good, by the way? Go Tunas go. And then going into the Vegas game right after that, where again 1:30 finish. This was a bagger of a week. Jesus. Bagger. Thank you though. I appreciate it, Phenom. Couple more things before we get out of here. Let's wrap this one up. As always, as we do here, play of the game. You guys let me know in the chat what yours is. Let's hit the intro. Also, I think in the chat there, 6 came back with a new name. Leave it up to you guys. Detectives in the chat, you let me know if you figure out what I'm talking about. Play the game here tonight. I want to know what you guys have. I'll give mine here as well. For me, it would be easy to give it to Bertuzzi hat trick. It's the game-winning goal. He's net front. It's on the power play. It's the hat trick goal. First player in Leafs history, I think they said, who scores a hat trick on his birthday. Pretty cool there as well. Just the whole storyline into it. But I think that the one thing that I looked at here tonight is the play in the second period where Bertuzzi loses his stick, wheels out at the point, gets in front, blocks the shot, stands up, continues to be in the play, is in good defensive positioning. That stands out to me. But then on top of that, in the third period, there was a play where Tyler Bertuzzi was down on the right side, lower down into the zone. You had a guy over near the wall. I think it was Rantanen at that point over on the wall who's got the pass, or who's got the puck, looking to make a pass into the middle of the ice. If that puck got through, I think it's probably going in the back of the net because there was a couple of Avs players there. One was somewhat left open. Bertuzzi's the guy getting across to make the play over on Rantanen, over on the wall. Slides as it's coming and is able to block the pass. That's late third period. That would have given the Avs the opportunity to take the lead there. And he's laying out, making that save on a night where he's already got 2. And then he closes it out and finishes with his third after that and makes the game-winning, or scores the game-winning goal, on the power play. Definitely play the game 2Z. Bang over live tonight, Zach. Thanks to me as well. Appreciate the support, boys. Thanks to the Tunas for watching right now. Yeah, that's my play. Like, Bertuzzi's just the player of the game. Like, give me any play Tyler Bertuzzi made tonight. I will find a way to spin this into my play of the game. It's gonna be hard for me not to. Genuinely. I love what this guy brought. I've been high on him all year. I'm happy to see him having this success here now. See people saying, "Oh, one game." Get out of here. This is not one game. The play has been there. The chances have been there. The shot attempts have been there. The shots on net have been there. The goals and the points just haven't. It had to come at some point. He's a good player. He belongs here in this team, in this top 6, as a valuable player, as a valuable role player to this lineup, to this team. It was going to come. At some point, it was going to come for him. It was going to turn around. Thank God we get to have this Tyler Bertuzzi game here tonight. Obviously now, continue it going forward, but I'm gonna have an easy time here tonight. You guys give me any play tonight, and Tyler Bertuzzi, I could probably swing it into play of the game. All right, final thing we'll get out of here on. You guys know what comes up here to close this out. We got to do our grades of the game. I want to know where you guys are at. 7 straight, 4 straight on the road. Drop your grade of the game in the chat. Let's hear it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Grades of the game. Grades of the game for tonight. Wow. You know what? I don't think I've given it all year. I contemplated not doing it. I didn't give it on Thursday. I didn't give it on Wednesday. I didn't give it on Monday. And every time I didn't, I had this, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. And I couldn't get there on this grade. But fuck it. A+. I've been so difficult on this team for how they play, looking at these things in a vacuum, I'm one person who's always looking at this and like taking away, like, okay, we can't get at the A. You know, some people in the chat, you give, sometimes you take, but not me. I'm always taking with these grades. I'm taking away from what this team has done. I usually get to the A plus or A in my head and then dial it back a little bit and maybe turn it down to a lower grade. I turn down a little bit. I'm going to go with the A plus here tonight. This is a more vibes thing than anything, okay? This grade tonight is vibes. Long road trip. You just played back-to-back good teams. Very good teams. Back-to-back Stanley Cup contending teams, mind you. Yeah, Vegas is missing Mark Stone. They're missing Jack Eichel for sure. But that's still a really good team who has been absolutely rocking even with those guys out of the lineup at different points during this season. You're also looking at St. Louis start that road trip. You had to close things out without Morgan Rielly in the lineup. You start in St. Louis there. Solid game then. Then you roll into Arizona. Okay, you're playing the Coyotes. You get this awesome moment for you get this awesome moment for Austin Matthews, who goes out there, scores his 50th, then he scores his 51st, which, by the way, was his 350th of his career. Like, you just get different things like that happening, which it feels great. It feels good to happen. You go into the game against Vegas on Thursday, and to me, the thing going in was always, this is one of those ones where we're going to find out. And I was worried because you went the whole time without Morgan Rielly. Everyone's talking about how good they are defensively, how strong the defensive play has been, that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah. I agree. But we also had to take it with a grain of salt because they played St. Louis twice, Anaheim. They played the Flyers. They played the Arizona Coyotes there on Wednesday. So I'm like, these are some lower end teams relatively. You're going to go into Vegas on a back-to-back. You're going to play at 10 o'clock on the Western times there. How are you going to show up? You pretty much dominated. You gave them 2 minutes into the third period that you let them come back. That was my biggest reasoning for not giving them an A+ in that game. You know, I dialed it back to an A. This game for me tonight is you closed out a road trip, swept the road trip, you played 4 and 6, and you found a way to win. That's what I was looking for. You were down 2-0. You fought back. There was no give up. At no point to me did it feel like the Leafs were mailing it in and saying, we're out of here, white towel, I'm done with this game. You battled back. I have respect for the fact that they did that here tonight. I have respect for these guys throughout this lineup making the impact that they did. I have respect for the fourth line being reliable, being a line that Sheldon Keefe can say, you know what, you can go out on the ice, you can play some minutes here. All around, pretty happy with what went on. I'm going A+ on the vibes. That'll do it for me on the stream here tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys showing up. Appreciate you guys participating in the chat. All that stuff. Thank you guys. Thanks for the super chats as well. Let me just double check and make sure I got everything. Oh, no, there was another one here. Sorry. Didn't want to miss it. I thought I saw one, but I wanted to say, Joe Hill, thank you for the super chat there. Joe says, honorable mention to that block by Mo as well. Yes, that one off the side of the head. A little bit concerning. When the way he went down and how quickly everyone was signaling, which you should when a guy gets hit in the head, but how quickly everyone was signaling, I was like, oh, fuck, like, this might be serious. And then I see it's Mo, and I'm like, okay, that's not great, but he ends up being okay. Huge shout out to him for the block as well. But that's going to do it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for the super chats again there. This has another super chat. I've gotten a lot of crazy super chats here on this channel. I don't even know what to say. Steven says, I just fell over. Now my pizza looks like lasagna. God. Steven, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That's tough. But like what the Leafs did here tonight, not everything can be perfect. Sometimes you have to scrounge it together. You got to pick your pepperoni up off the floor, slap it back on the dough, and find a way to get it done. I believe in you, like we did with this Leafs team here tonight. That was an interesting super chat, but thank you nonetheless. I appreciate it. That'll do it for me. This Leafs win this one here tonight against Colorado Avalanche 4-3. Some late game heroics by Tyler Bertuzzi, who gets the. I was still thinking about this lasagna pizza super chat, Stephen. Thank you, but what the hell just happened? Leafs win this one 4-3. Some heroics, Bertuzzi hat trick. Pretty good game there all around. I give this one an A+. So thank you guys for tuning in. This Leafs team moves to 33-16-8 on the season. That's all for tonight for game 57 of the Maple Leafs regular season here tonight against Colorado Avalanche. See you guys next week. Keep believing.